Good evening. With the Ghana Learning Channel's news in capsule for Wednesday, January 26, 2022, I am Kingsley Bryan. Here are the top stories we're covering this evening. We'll tell you first that Ghana ups the ante in the malaria fight with the procurement of a new technology for malaria sequencing. Then, you'll also hear that booster shots are being considered as a requirement for persons traveling in and out of Guyana. Also, China-Ghana Friendship Ghana Monument to be constructed at Jovera Park on the west bank of Demerara. And in news from the region, we'll tell you that Project Lara to be signed off in February. Young regrets not getting agreement finalized sooner. And on the international scene, Meta is building AI supercomputer to help with the difficult task of moderating posts. And now for the news in detail. Guyana is continuing the fight against malaria with the procurement of new technology that will facilitate the sequencing the genomes of parasites found in the blood of infected patients. The new advanced technology will also help researchers to determine the different genes and hotspot areas of the parasite here in the country. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony made the announcement on Monday at the launch of a 5-day workshop that focuses on medical professionals training. He said the project will help Guyana to completely eliminate malaria parasites and vectors. This will be done through the development of a molecular surveillance system, which will be used to monitor trends of the disease and determine sources of the parasites. Researchers will also be able to monitor the distribution of malaria and the spread of the disease across the country, as well as monitor the resistance of anti-malarial drugs to possibly develop new technologies and medicines to treat those infected. Meanwhile, Dr. Caroline Buckey, professor of the T.H. Chan School of Public Health, Harvard, said the project will help officials understand the malaria parasites and could also be used in the fight against COVID-19. The research project is supported and funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and is a collaboration between the Ministry of Health and Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. And in other news, we'll tell you, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said the COVID-19 booster shots may soon become a requirement for persons who wish to travel in and out of the country. The new measure is being considered as the government continues to grapple with the rising number of COVID cases being recorded. Minister Anthony also recapped the current travel requirements, which he attributes to the reason for a low number of imported cases in the country. Meanwhile, given the rise in cases, the health minister continues to urge persons to get fully vaccinated. As of Tuesday, 421,131 persons, or 82.1% of the country's adult population, took the first dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, while 309,160 persons, or 60.3%, have been fully vaccinated. In terms of the 12 to 17 age cohort, Minister Anthony said this group remains the lowest in their vaccination numbers, with 32,309 people taking the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine and 22,688 taking both doses. Another 35,014 people took their booster dose. He's again urging parents to get their children vaccinated, especially if they are attending schools. Meanwhile, a China-Guyana Friendship Ghana Monument, amphitheater, picnic lawn, a stand canopy over a pond, twin pavilions, and grounds for football, tennis, and basketball are the major attractions earmarked for the Jovera Park on the west bank of Demerara. Guyana and China signed an implementation agreement for the initiative, called the China-Ghana Friendship Jovera Park, on Tuesday at the office of the president, Shiv Chandra Paul Drive. Early estimates place the cost between $8 million US and $12 million US dollars. Signing on behalf of Guyana was Commissioner Acting of the Protected Areas Commission and National Parks Commission, Jason Fraser. He said the project will enhance the park and provide equivalent of what the national park is for residents of Georgetown to the people of the west bank of Demerara. Foreign Secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Robert Prasad, lauded the deep and abiding relations between Guyana and China since they established diplomatic ties on June 27, 1972. He said the Friendship Park reflects this partnership. Ambassador of China to Guyana, Guo Haiyan, said that though Guyana is rich in green spaces, which serve as tourist attractions, many of them are in remote areas. June 2022 will mark the 50th anniversary of diplomatic ties. Haiyan also expressed a desire to see more fruitful cooperation in promotion of the Belt and Road Initiative, China's Global Transport Infrastructure Initiative, and Guyana's low-carbon development strategy. And turn our attention now to the world of sports. The United Arab Emirates, UAE, and Ireland have booked their places in the plate semi-finals as the next stage of the ICC Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup kicked off in Trinidad and Tobago. UAE survived a dramatic batting collapse to edge past Uganda by 1 wicket and set up a clash with either host nation West Indies or Papua New Guinea in the next round. And Philip Leroux was Ireland's hero, digging in for a vital unbeaten 83 to help his side post a total, which proved too much for Canada to manage. Ireland will now meet the winners of today's clash between Zimbabwe and Scotland, while Canada join Uganda in the plate playoff semi-finals. On Wednesday, the matches will be the Super League quarter-final, England versus South Africa at the Sir Vivian Richards in Antigua. Plate quarter-final, Zimbabwe versus Scotland at the Queen's Park Oval, and the other plate quarter-final, West Indies versus PNG, which will be played at the Diego Martin Sporting Complex, also in Trinidad and Tobago. And that's what was extracted and modified from the newsroom. And in news from the region, Trinidad and Tobago's Energy Minister, Stuart Young, is optimistic that Project Lara, a major renewable energy project that government is pursuing with the private sector, will be signed off and implemented before the end of February. He made this comment at the Virtual Caribbean Sustainable Energy Conference 2022 on Monday. Referring to renewable energy initiatives mentioned by Finance Minister Com Imbert in the 2022 budget last October, Young regretted there was no sign-off on the 102.2 megawatts solar photovoltaic project with a consortium comprising BPTT, Shell, and Lighthouse BPTT. Last October, Imbert said the project involved the construction of 2 solar photovoltaic plants at Couva and Trin City at a cost of $100 million. Young said on Monday, government is looking at certain solar projects in the Gulf of Paria, as well as the use of some quarries for other solar projects. Young also underscored the importance of striking the right balance between proper energy usage and climate change. He made this point in response to a contribution from Special Envoy on Investments in Financial Services to Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley, Professor Avinash Prasad. Prasad said countries whose economies are centered on fossil fuels must not believe they have an inordinate period of time to make the transition to cleaner, more sustainable energy. He recalled when the COVID-19 pandemic began in March 2020. A big part of the conversation at the time was the impact of COVID-19 on cruise ships and CARICOM countries with tourism-dependent economies. Nevertheless, he said the region must play its part in reducing greenhouse gas emissions and achieving the net zero carbon target outlined at COP26. Young said this reinforces the view that renewables by themselves will not satisfy all energy needs. There is no one-stop fix. And that's what was extracted and modified from Loop Caribbean News. And on the international scene, Facebook has long bet that artificial intelligence can help it with the difficult task of moderating posts from its billions of users. Now, its parent company is taking a step that could move it closer to that elusive goal, building its first supercomputer. Meta on Monday announced its new AI research supercluster, RSC, a supercomputer meant to be used for AI research projects. The supercomputer, which has been in the works for 2 years, may eventually help Meta develop far more powerful AI software, potentially useful for tricky tasks such as spotting hate speeches in posts. Supercomputers, which feature many interconnected processors clumped into what are known as nodes, have become increasingly popular and powerful in recent years for AI research. In a blog post Monday, co-authored by Sen Gupta, Meta said that as of January, its supercomputer includes 6,080 GPUs divided among 760 nodes, potentially making it one of the most powerful in the world. At its current size, Sen Gupta said it's on par with the Perlmutter supercomputer at the National Energy Research Scientific Computing Center, with ranks 5th in the world. When completed later this year, however, Meta said it will have 16,000 GPUs, and the company expects it will be capable of nearly 5 exaflops of computing performance. That's 5 quintillion operations per second. Eventually, Meta said, the supercomputer will lead to technologies needed to build a so-called metaverse, a wide-ranging, interconnected virtual realm that people can walk around within via digital avatars and interact with others who are also there virtually. Facebook has positioned the metaverse as the future of the company, but today, only snippets of that vision have been realized. And that story was extracted and modified from CNN. And that's our news broadcast for Wednesday, January 26, 2022. Please join us for a rebroadcast tomorrow morning. On behalf of myself and technical team, thanks for watching. Please stay tuned to our regular programming and remember to observe all the necessary precautionary methods to fight off COVID-19. We're all in this together. Have a safe evening.